Hey there, I'm Kane Rains and welcome to my basement. Today we've got one more set of turtle NECA figures to look at. And they are the first turtles based on the initial sketches from very early in Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's comic career, or at least their turtle-based comic careers. And this is a pretty interesting blast from the past based on the original sketch and then what would become the base design or the initial design for the original comic Turtles, which has obviously changed, not just in those initial comics, but multiple times over the years. Now, I'm really interested in the fact that they made this. I think it's neat. I got it on sale, clearance, Walmart, etc., which is, what I do in general whenever I can. I don't have much nostalgia for the comics or the design phase, but when I saw this marked down to like under half of its original price, I was like, well, I think it is neat. So I'm gonna roll the dice on it and see how it is. And NECA usually does a pretty good job. So let's unpack this pair and see what they've got going for them. So here are the sketch turtles out of the box. They are, well, the original sketch turtle is a chunky boy, especially. Oh, there he goes. It's always somebody. It wouldn't be a Caden's basement without somebody falling over. But, yeah, so they are, chunky action figures, especially this one who's trying to dance or something over here. Let's look at, I guess in chronological order, we've got our original sketch turtle here. And they both come with these clipped-on pieces. And that's kind of neat that they've got that part there on their wrists. And there's the clip on the... For this one, it's his nunchucks. It's not... I don't think it's supposed to be nunchucks on the other one. We'll get to him in a minute. And while it's neat, you can kind of see... I don't know, maybe it's not picking up too well. But the paint rubs a little bit. And it's not super noticeable, but it's there. And maybe if there's the colored version, it wouldn't be as noticeable, but whatever. So anyway, there's the clip-on nunchucks for him. So he's got some good posability overall. He's got two joints, one for the base of his neck and one where his head goes. And that head does have a replacement. He's got this default piece and then a more growly face. I don't think it's bad, but I don't particularly care for this expression. Anyway. Then his arms, I don't know if they're different or my version, he's just sort of stuck because this arm, his right, will not go up and down, while his left does. So this might be another case where it just needs to be loosened up, but I am not going to force that. It looks like it should, but I can't get it to. So, yeah, and I'm not going to force that right now. As you've seen in previous videos, I mean, these are out of the box, and that's what I'm judging them by. He actually, his legs have more posability, more maneuverability than his right arm does out of the box, but that's just how it is. His tail can move a little bit, but it's almost not worth. To some degree, I don't know why they bothered. So anyway, that's our original sketch turtle, who I believe is confirmed to be Michelangelo. Sorry if that's incorrect, but I think that's what they've said if they had to name him. The bandana does move. You can shift it, which is neat. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, as far as the paint job goes, it's got that sketchy appearance really well, although there's this one little bit of overlap with the red, and this is probably just something that happens here or there, but it is... I noticed it. You probably wouldn't, depending on what angle you were looking at him at, but I did. So, original sketch turtle, pretty good. He does come with an alternate set of hands, those being the grippy hands, and here's with one of the accessories being a sword, the katana, because they do come with all the standard weapons plus one or two alternates that aren't as common, which we'll get to in a minute. So grippy hands are there. Good. Then we've got original comic or alternated comic design, and while he's smaller overall, obviously, he's nearly the same height. There's not too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things, but his body's smaller. He's not like and his limbs are obviously a lot smaller. So that's closer to what we had in the original comics. And I have read some of the original comics, but again, they're not what I grew up with. I grew up with the original cartoon show, and that's what I think of as the original, even though I know it's not. So, you can at me down below if you need to, but I'm not gonna get into an argument about semantics about it. He's also got the clippy bits for his wrist, and he's also got a little bit of paint coming off, which, that's irksome, but it's not like too bad. So, similar posability overall, even though the limbs are smaller. He doesn't have the issue on his right arm that the original sketch one does. So there's that. And yeah, so you can get him going. He also has grippy hands, and I've put one of Raphael's size in one of them. You have to kind of pry it in there. It is like this goes for both hands, but they are, they're more so for the big ones, but they're not like wanting to open too much. It was a little easier to get the smaller hands to cooperate than it was to get the bigger hands. He's also got his own alternate face that is a little angrier. I wouldn't call his normal face exactly happy. It's closer to a smile than not, but yeah. So that's that. Then as far as our other accessories, so the reason, let's see, where'd he go? So we've got open nunchucks. Yeah. We get the show's name changed in England for a while or something, whatever it was. Then we've also got this version, so you can have him grip, and then it's got this tilt, and it also spins for that effect. So that is neat. They've done similar things like that, especially with, bigger versions with Donnie's bow staff on the cartoon Pizza Club version before. But it's a nice effect. It's what you might see in a comic or cartoon. And you can do that have either turtle hold that. So I do think that's nice. And then we've got the bow staff. And it's a staff. There's only so much they can do with a staff. And finally, what I believe is a tonfa. I was first introduced to tonfas in the Rave Master manga, where Ellie, I think, had tonfa blasters, which it was only later I discovered that no, tonfas are not guns. They're basically sticks you hold differently. But anyway, so it's another addition to the arsenal that you don't see with the turtles as much, or at least not in the versions I've seen. So that's neat. As far as, do I recommend this set if you find it? Because if it's still at a Walmart, it's been marked down. And there he goes again. If you find it marked down, sure. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad set. I don't really find it great. I like the original Sketch Turtle more than original comic design or initial comic design. I do think it's cool because I've seen that sketch before. And I've been to conventions where Eastman's been there. From what I understand, Kevin Laird doesn't really participate as much anymore, and whatever works for him. But I'm glad at least one of them is still part of the Turtles franchise in one way or another. But this sketch turtle, I'm much more into than this one. If they had just sold him alone, I probably would have gotten the set before it was as clearanced as it was. But, you know, it's not bad. I don't hate either of them. So it's kind of like with anything, it's kind of up to your preferences. I like this one, the sketch turtle, more than this one. So that's what I went with. That's kind of what pushed me over the line, seeing it marked down. If it had just been this one marked down, I probably wouldn't have gotten him. And like, no hate on it if you prefer that one, but it's just not for me. So anyway, that's my take on these two. I don't know how permanent a spot on the shelf I'm going to give them, but for now, since there's pretty much nothing up there, I'm going to put them on the top shelf because that's where my throwback stuff is going to be, even though most of the figures are not from the time period that their shows were from, but that's where I'm going to put them for now. So let's get them set up and then put them up there. You want to show our viewers where the turtles are? I don't think they're in that direction. They probably don't think this is too cute either. Oh, that's sweet. And that's just a check-in from Benny because she decided to stomp on down the stairs right when I was about to finish up. Yeah. Anyway, so now that she's got her attention, here are where I've put them for now. As you can see, that's my top shelf. It's never been clear until I had to move stuff for the plumbers. And that top shelf is mostly going to be like throwback. Like I have a whole 90s display set up, and I know they're from the 80s, but you know how it is. So that's what's mostly going to go in this corner, and we'll get to them soon, TM, but we'll do what we do. I ended up giving the original sketch the nunchucks, especially the in motion one, and then since this one, I don't know, I already had the Sai out and I wanted to use the Tonfa, so that's why he's got that. Anyway, so that's where they are for now. Like with Leozilla from the last video, I don't know if they'll stay out forever, but I like them overall, so I wanted to go ahead and put them out while I've got room for them, and we'll see if where that leads to in the future. But have you seen these original sketch turtles or have them? And if you do, let me know. If you don't, do you regret not getting them? Do you wish you had? Are you glad you didn't? Let me know down below. But either way, I hope you had a good time in my basement today, and I'll see you in the next one.